Hi guys, what's going on? It's Jess. Today I'm going to try a little something different with my video. I actually have a list of things I wanted to talk about. Yes, a list! I'm not just making crap up as I go. So hopefully this is going to work a little bit better to keep things on track. I don't know, I still tend to wander, but we'll give it a shot. So here is my 7 things that you didn't know that your transgender friend goes through probably on a day-to-day basis. So number one, we're going to start right off with one of the biggies is pronouns. Now a lot of people don't understand like this whole pronoun thing or why people get all bent out of shape about pronouns. The reason why that it's such a big deal for transgender people is that their whole life they've been in the wrong body, they've been treated the wrong way, they haven't been treated as who they are. And so one of the biggest things that they struggle to overcome is leaving that past behind and moving on to the next adventure. And in a way, it's like moving on to a whole nother life. But they don't want to be constantly reminded of their past, and they don't want to be reminded of where they came from, especially during the early stages of transition. And I'm one of those people that is in the early stages of transition, even though it's been almost an entire year now, and I can't even believe that. And I'm nowhere near where I actually want to be. I thought I'd be a lot further along in some things than I am. Um, Pronouns are something that's difficult. Now, I've been blessed in that I have a girlfriend who makes sure to call me the correct pronouns all the time. She refers to me as her girlfriend, and that's all I am to her, and it's wonderful. Other people don't usually do that. Now, sometimes it depends. If I'm out somewhere and I'm wearing a dress and makeup and everything else, people will say call me miss or ma'am or whatever. But if I'm out as my normal self, like this, um, not so much. Most people just, mm-mm. They're going to call me sir or whatever. And most of the time, I truly do believe it's not malicious or anything like that. It's just, I don't look enough like a woman for them. And I can't blame them because they don't know. Um, but it's very difficult when you're hit with something like that. In fact, I actually had an instance probably like a week ago or so, maybe not that long. I don't know, however long it's been now, um, where pretty much the whole day I was being referred to as he and him, and what's up, guy, and how you doing, man, and hey, what's going on, big guy, stuff like that. And when I got home, I actually referred to myself for the first time in probably a year. I referred to myself as male, and it was just a slip of the tongue, but that's really how much power calling somebody the wrong things has, is that eventually something flips in my own head and I regress and I think of myself that way, and it doesn't feel good. um, the second thing, number two, that I wanted to talk about is bathrooms and the stress that comes with those bathrooms. Now, like I said, I'm in this early transitioning phase, and as part of this early transitioning phase, if I'm out like this, even though I still refer to myself as female, and maybe I style my hair feminine and I got my female glasses and things like that, I will still go to the men's room because I am aware that most people still see me as male, regardless of the fact that I'm not. Um, and going to the men's room is very, very stressful, even when I am dressed as male or whatever, and I feel like everybody, is going to view me as being male. It's still stressful because I don't want to be there. I don't feel comfortable in that room. I don't feel like that's where I belong. Um, it's really weird, and I know a lot of people out there really aren't going to understand why it feels so strange, but just try to imagine as a woman that you were in the men's room, or that as a man you were in the women's room, and that you just walked in there because you needed to go to the bathroom, and you just like want to be left alone. You don't want people to yell at you. You don't want people to look at you funny. You don't want, whatever. Just try to imagine that. And that's what I go through every day. But I also experience that in the women's room. So if I am dressed up in a dress and makeup and things like that, yes, I will go to the women's room, because I sure as hell am not going in the men's room like that. Um, I don't I don't want to be assaulted. I don't want to be made fun of. I don't want to be confronted. I don't want any of that. But when I go to the women's room, even though I'm wearing a dress and high heels and have a purse and makeup and everything else, I still worry that somebody's going to yell at me, that somebody's going to be like, "What the hell are you doing in here?" or whatever. And it's incredibly stressful. So just the very concept of going to the bathroom somewhere other than my house is really, really difficult. So for those of you out there that have transgender friends, family members, etc., if you can, offer to that transgender person that you will happily go to the bathroom with them. If they are your gender, offer them that. Um, and not in a creepy way, but in a, hey, if you ever need to go to the bathroom and you're a little nervous or whatever, I have no problem going with you. Um, there's actually a whole movement that started that was, I will go to the bathroom with you. And they made buttons and things for people to wear, to show that they're an ally of transgendered people. So it's a really big deal. It's really hard. And unfortunately, one of my medications is actually makes me have to urinate a lot. So it really sucks that every time I leave the house, I got to make sure, okay, did I use the bathroom? Have I drank a lot recently? Okay, I got to try to hold myself. Do I want something to drink? I kind of do, but at the same time, no, I don't, because I don't want to have to go to the bathroom. It's really, really hard. Number three, sort of continuing in that same direction, but number three is going to the bar or anywhere else where you're going to be ID'd. I think most people, I don't think I've run into anybody really who knows I'm transgender that has really picked up on the fact, because it's not something you normally think about, probably hasn't picked up on the fact that going to the bar, for me, I like going there and I like having a drink, but it really sucks to order my own drink. Um, Not because I'm nervous of what the bartender's going to do or that, whatever. That's not the problem. The problem is that when they ask to see your ID, my ID is that of me as a male, plain as day. And when I'm out at a bar or something, chances are I'm dressed as a woman. Chances are I'm wearing a dress or I'm in some sort of party clothing and I have makeup on and everything else. And the last thing I want to do is dig my ID out, see that picture of me looking back at me as a male, and hand that to somebody who's talking to me as who I really am, and be like, here you go. And then they look at it and they're looking at me, and they might not care, but I feel like I'm being judged. I feel like, it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. And it's just really difficult. So if you happen to be at the bar with somebody who's transgender or something like that, and, you know, ask, and you're going to get a drink or something, ask them, hey, you need a drink? Like, what do you want? I'll go grab it for you. You want to just give me the money or whatever, and, I'll get it for you. Just do that if you can, because it's huge. I hate having to go to the bar, to go to that counter and order something and get carded. It's the worst feeling ever. I hate it. Same thing with like flying and things like that. When they ask to see your ID, is just it's like the worst feeling in my stomach. I hate it so much, so much. Um, Number four, other people's expectations. Uh, this is a difficult area because people have expectations of what you are to look like, how you are to act, how you are to speak, what you're to sound like, and things like that, just because you're transitioning. This is how I normally look, even though I'm transitioning. And at first, when I first started, I thought, okay, I need to wear more feminine clothing. I need to do my makeup. I need to do my hair. I need to be careful about the way I walk and the way I talk and everything else. And over time, I've realized that I can't do all those things. It's not going to work. And a lot of my attempts to do that were bringing me in the wrong direction. They were taking me, I was having to act like somebody I wasn't in order to try to be who I am, which makes no sense. Um, but the only thing I ask is those of you who have a transgender friend or know somebody that's transgender, maybe you just work with somebody that's transgender at your workplace, or you know somebody at school who's transgender or whatever, is try to have their back when it comes to these areas. I've worked with transgender people before and had people saying some of the most disgusting things about that person simply because they they didn't have time to shave that morning, so they had some stubble going on. Or because, oh my god, they made this sudden change. Oh my god, their makeup looks terrible. Oh my god, their hair is blah, blah, blah. They're copying me and my style. They're whatever asinine bullshit that's like kindergarten levels of just idiocy. Please, for the love of God, just stand up for those people and say, "Yo, leave that person alone, man. Like they're doing everything they need to do to better themselves, and they don't need other people trying to bring them down." So, I guess that's what it really is for me, and for anybody who happens to be transgender out there that's watching this, just realize that you don't have to please other people. You need to please yourself. And if you're in my case, I've got my black hair, I've got my black clothes, I have piercings and tattoos, and that's who I am. Regardless of whether I'm male or female, that's who I am. And I'm not going to change for anybody other than myself. And you shouldn't either. Number 5, trying to find new clothing. This has been one of the biggest issues I've had in my transition. I, for those of you that don't know, am 6'4", and I'm like 220 pounds or something like that. I am a big person. I wouldn't say I'm fat or anything like that, but I'm just big in general. Um, you can see like my arms are kind of scrawny and stuff, but I'm just a big person at 6'4", and you know I have the girth of somebody who is 6'4", and unfortunately, female clothing is not really made for 6'4" tall females who weigh 220 pounds. They're just not. Um, Same thing goes for men's clothing. Really, men's clothing isn't made for me. I actually was out like trying to shop and I literally could not find a pair of pants that had my measurements. Period. They didn't exist. And so I just had to make do with something else that's a little too tight and, you know, whatever, so I'd have the right length and things like that. It's ridiculous, but unfortunately it's part of reality. And when I first started transitioning, like I said earlier, I really worried about that whole like I need more female clothing, I don't have enough, I need more pants, I need, you know, dresses and skirts, and you know, how do I even find a dress that's going to have a skirt that's long enough? Because I'm 6'4". I can find a dress that fits me, but it's going to be really short. Skirts have the problem of some things with anatomy. Um, just women's clothing in general is difficult to find for me. And I found some, and I like some of what I found, but it's difficult. So I guess my advice for those of you out there that have somebody that you know that's transgender is if you're out shopping or something and you see clothing that might fit that person or something, just give them a little shout out and just say, you know, hey, I saw some stuff that might fit you, you know, at whatever store. I'll say Target because Target's great for the transgender community and the LGBT community as a whole. I wholly support Target, and they actually do carry stuff that fits me, so it's wonderful. Um, but if you see some of that stuff out there, give a shout out to your transgender friend. Let them know you saw something that might fit them. They might not have any idea where they should be going to find that clothing. Also, just keep in mind that they're not going to pull off that clothing as good as, you know, your standard original cis female, cis male, whatever. And you know, be appreciative of them. And if you really want to help your transgender friend, um, do your best to like compliment them when you see them wearing a new outfit or something, especially the outfit of the gender they're going towards. try to compliment them, be like, oh my God, you look so nice. You know, you look really pretty. You look really handsome. Just anything. I will tell you from personal experience, it helps so much to have people compliment me when I'm dressed. It really does. Um, I will even say, and for those of you that don't know a transgender person, there will be times where you see them out on the street and you know they're transgender. Give them a compliment in passing if you can. I mean, if you I mean, it's not going to kill you, right? I was walking through New York City wearing a dress and heels and makeup and everything else, and a woman actually leaned out from where she was waiting at the curb to compliment me as I passed and just said, "You're looking great today." It put a smile on my face. It put a little bit more spring in my step. It made me feel more comfortable, and I felt better about what I was doing, who I was, how I looked, etc. So give that a try if you can. I'm sure anyone and everyone out there will greatly appreciate it. Number 6, hormone imbalances and stress. Um, Hormones are a wild, wild medication. I never really understood until I'm taking them myself. Um, but think about when you were going through puberty, or if you know someone who's going through puberty, or you have a kid, or you got a niece or nephew, or friend have a kid, or whatever that's going through puberty. Imagine going through all of that as an adult, because that's what's happening right now with me. And I think I'm on a fairly low hormone regimen still, and even with the levels I have, mood swings all over the place, sudden shifts in how I feel, suddenly wanting to cry, wanting to scream, wanting to be mad, wanting to be sad, um, all over the place. It's really, really difficult. And it's very stressful. Being transgender in general is very stressful, but having those hormones all out of whack while you're dealing with that stress, really, really hard. And if you have a transgender friend out there, they are going through hard times every day. They're having stress and anxiety and issues that you can't even begin to comprehend when it comes to how they feel inside. Just try to understand that. Don't take something that somebody says in passing or something out of context, and do your best to just kind of help them out a little bit, especially if you see that they seem kind of out of it or something like that. Just talk to them. Let them know you're there for them. It helps a ton. And I appreciate every single person out there that has done that for me very much. Number 7, and this is almost kind of like a recap or a summary of all the rest of those points, but it's remaining patient and remaining calm. Patient in that transitioning takes a long time, but more so patient in those around you as a transgender person. Being patient with others is something I've had to do a lot. um, Even with close friends, with family members, it's been really difficult, and I've had to be patient with them because not everybody can just click and bam, they're okay. I understand now. It's not how it works, and a lot of people need time and space, and they need to talk to you a good bit and get be around you for a while and things like that to really start to grasp the 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 extent of the changes and things that are in you. You're still, transgender people are still that same person they were, but a lot of people are very latched on to what they see and what they hear, and when things start to change, people in general don't like change. So even though as a transgender person, that transgender person is still the same person they always were, to others they view it as like this radical shift in who that person is, and that's not what it is. But as a transgender person, I have to try to remain patient. I also have to try to remain calm because, like I said, my hormones are out of whack. I'm very stressed. um, People misgender me all the time. I can't find clothing. I need to find a job that's going to be understanding of me being transgender. There's a North Carolina bathroom bill nonsense going on where both me and my girlfriend's family live, and we had plans to eventually move there, and now we don't know what to do because that state is literally discriminating against me as a person. And sometimes it's very, very difficult to stay calm. And I've had to take a step back. I've had to remove myself from a lot of stuff. And I'm trying very hard to change how I interact with people and what I do. Um, I get very angry. I get very worked up. I get very excited. And I want to just express my thoughts and opinion and stuff. And sometimes I realize that I'm getting too angry as I write this, or I'm getting too angry as I film this. And I realize I need to step back and just let it go. And that's been a very difficult thing that I'm struggling with. And I think every transgender person probably goes through that to some extent. Trying to just stay calm, to not freak out, to not scream at the top of your lungs, to not cry, to just keep moving forward, to keep pushing on day by day. It's not easy. And every transgender person out there is going through it. And if you're somebody who is an ally or a friend or just a coworker or whatever else, there's probably not a whole lot you can do here, but I guess the best thing you can really do is be a friend and listen to them and offer to talk to them and find out what's going on with them, what's their problems, see if you can help, even if it's just offering a friendly ear. It will help a ton if that transgender person feels like they have friends that care. And I think that's probably the most important thing out there. And for anybody that is transgender watching this, everything gets better in time. Sometimes it's really hard to remember that. I'm in one of those positions right now where things are so stressful that I can't imagine a point in the future where things are better. But I know that things always get better. You just have to stick with it and keep trying. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I think every person out there should do, whether you're transgender or not. So, for anybody that made it all the way through this video, thank you so much. I hope you learned something. I hope this helps in some way. I hope you share this with your friends, with any transgender people you know, or others that are friends with you, or anybody that you think that this could help in any way, shape, or form. Please share it. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. I'm not going to pressure. I really don't, whatever. But I hope this really helped. So thank you very much, guys. I hope the format worked out a little better this time. I feel like I at least stayed on topic with those various different topics. Still a long, long video. I understand. I apologize. But thank you guys very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, till later.